Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Educational Gamer and we are playing Strategic Command. It is high time of Operation Barbarossa, so the Germans are attacking the Soviet front on the whole width. It is September 1941. They did make serious inroads and they destroyed a lot of Soviet units, but I think that we might just be able to somewhat stabilize the front. At least, well, if we are not stabilizing it, then at least we are slowing the pushback very, very slowly over here. So I think the situation in the north is looking somewhat precarious with these German bulging lines over here. But then again, they don't seem to have that many reserves. I spot a tank unit down here. These tank units are certainly capable of attacking once, but probably not twice. So hopefully that is going to be alright. And down here in the south, it seems like a lot of the German allies are starting to run, to wear a little thin on these lines over here. The Hungarians, the Romanians certainly need to take a break. The Italian tanks over here weren't too successful to begin with. So maybe we are going to have some progress over here. Certainly there's going to be some movement down here in Africa. And that should be interesting. Of course, in Asia, we are pushing back the Japanese. I always want to call them Italians, and I do not know why. Somewhat, so that is good. We have, I think, officially reconquered all of China, except, of course, Taiwan. So that is very nice to see. So yeah, let's take the turn over here and see what will happen, especially to the front. Will we get any sort of decision? Not expecting any, but let's see. Japanese morale suffers because they are losing a lot of units, and other places. Allies liberate Manchukuo. Okay, I didn't know that was actually occupied. Italian East Africa surrenders. That is also very nice. UK plunders a couple of points. We are still trying to liberate Ethiopia, which was conquered by Italy in between the wars, I think, just before. Yep, spying and intel level 2 for the UK, that's nice to see. Industrial technology level 2, that is very good to see. Indian better warfare technology, so that's good to see. Quite a couple of points being deducted for the UK over here because it's doing so many things. Raiding Saint-Nazaire, conquering Iran, funding some partisans. But nevertheless, at the very least, the Soviet Union is collecting more and more points over here, so that is very good to see for us. So, let's see what the Axis will do, especially on the Eastern Front, so on the German-Soviet front, which technically, of course, is the Western Front for the Soviets. Did just zoom in so that we can see a little bit better what is happening. Japanese reinforcing Hanoi, withdrawing in Korea. Germans withdrawing in North Africa, that is interesting to see. I mean, the fighting here is a little bit back and forth. Lots of reinforcements. Some Germans pulling back, but that's not indicative of the entire front. The Pripyat marshes over here are very difficult terrain. In Hearts of Iron, this is pretty much modeled as unpassable entirely. And historically, that is where one of the big pockets developed. Ooh. Some Germans ran into contact with us and were annihilated. Some Italian submarines down there. Couple of cruisers and submarines down here. They are attacking our battleship up here. I am hopeful that they don't push back all the way. Oh my, our battleship is really... They sunk the battleship! Yeah, they are pushing back extremely strongly against us. I didn't know the Germans had that many units. That's 2 heavy cruisers, a battleship, a battle cruiser, 4 submarine units over here. It's a lot. Some fighting over there. So they are bombing. Our AA guns are doing their job. These tactical bombers didn't do much. Ooh, our tanks will be attacked. That I do not appreciate. Some losses on these carriers by the artillery. Yeah, some attacks. They are attacking very strongly over here, but yeah, they did manage to take out that army. That core might be safe. I'm happy that our mechanized forces down here withdrew. This army is likely being annihilated. Yeah, completely. This is getting very precarious. Special forces are under attack. Entire line is under attack, but for now it seems to be alright. Yeah, we are taking some losses, but I'm mostly worried about these tanks actually. Because they are the only tank units that we do have. And of course this area is wide open now. We'll have to see. But we are causing some damage over here, which I very, very much appreciate. I think these guys were just moved into position. Ooh, now we are getting beaten up on our anti-tank units. Sorry, anti-air units. Ah, damn it. I would have hoped that our mechanized forces do survive that. Germans are suffering a little bit down there. Yeah, I think we'll need to pull back from that bulge. Over here things are okay though for now. But it's difficult to maintain a coherent line. Japanese moving and reinforcing. Germans pulling back from over there. Interesting, they'll probably be pulling back a little. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, so not much effect in North Africa, to be honest. A lot of effect in the north over there, and a lot of these Germans over there. I mean, losing a battleship, that's hurting national morale. And it's very bad for us, of course. And they did that via the submarines. And I'm surprised by how many submarines they have actually got over here. A lot of reinforcements happening. Oil bubble hitting Japanese morale, so they ended their turn. Greek partisans disrupting supply, nice to see. German convoys are being disrupted. And here it is, our turn. So it is taking some time on the Eastern Front, so let's make sure we are dealing with that. But I do think that we want to start out, yeah, just 2 armies destroyed, a garrison and mechanized forces. Admiral Graf Spee heavy cruiser sunk, and the Rodney is sunk. That's really bad. Ooh, amphibious transport, so they might be trying to land somewhere, and I'm not sure where that is. Tanks up over there. Battleship spotted. And here we go. Okay, so let's start out with the situation in the North Sea. So we do have a lot of submarines, 2 submarines. We do have a battleship over here, and a heavy cruiser up over there. So, oh, and it's rainy over here. So we can't use any of our air forces. No! Oh, that sucks. That is very, very, very unfortunate. So, what I think we should do is bring up these destroyers, take on these submarines, do some damage over there. That's fine. These battleships are fine. These destroyers are fine. The light cruisers, I think, should come home. But I don't want to stumble into anything on the way over there. So let's bring out these submarines. Bring them on the enemy supply lines over there, so we know nothing is over here. We do have a couple of carriers over there, but again they won't be able to do much in that sea over here. We do know about a couple of German submarines that were sort of in this general vicinity. These light cruisers could come up over here, so let's do that. Could attack the German heavy cruisers there. But yeah, we don't really have much to do with... Don't really have that many naval assets over here. I think we should have 2 battleships. Am I missing one? I think I moved one over here actually. That was a mistake maybe. So you guys already did your attack. These light cruisers do need to come over here. Let's bring in the destroyers first, so that we are spotting anything that might hinder these guys coming back to base. So that should be fine. You could attack over here, but I'm actually going to move you over here to start an attack on these submarines. And then you cannot do any attack. Is it rainy over here? I think it's light rain. It's light rain all over the North Sea. So no chance to bring in our carriers at all. So let's actually bring them back to base. As sad as that is. Could engage their battleship with our battleship, but there doesn't seem to be too much point in doing that. These light cruisers could engage these heavy cruisers, but why? More destroyers over here. You could actually come over here, so let's do that. Let's bring you up over there. Potentially finish off these submarines. Very nice. They take some losses in return. Not too much. No one else is close to this, being able to engage that though. Could make a run for these heavy cruisers with our heavy cruisers. But ours are actually a little bit worse off, so you know what, let's bring up our battleship back towards the front over here. I know that seems a little bit indecisive, but nevertheless let's do so. This battleship will venture out over there, followed by these destroyers. They need to come home to conduct some urgent repairs. And then we can bring in these I mean, there's still some enemies over here, some enemy submarines over towards this area. But still, I would also like to engage them over there, if possible at all. Although their destroyers, their submarines were somewhat engaged. Battleship on battleship action over there. Not too useful actually. So what we could do instead is bring up the light cruiser over there, bring up our battleship back to port and engage their heavy cruiser by quite a bit. And then that should, roughly speaking, be fine. Could bring up these destroyers, conduct some more damage on their heavy cruiser, but why? And then our heavy cruisers against theirs. Okay. Did you do your strike? You did. You have a strike left. You have no strike left. Bring you back a little. How about you? No strikes left. You need to come back. Is there anything we can do? Anything. Anything at all. Heavy cruise over here. Let's bring you into this sea base, so that at the very least you can venture out next time. That submarine can't do much, even against this battleship. Yeah, and there's simply no way we can fly any action against these guys. Too bad. Too bad. I really would have liked to do some damage over there. Right, so that being said, let's go on and look at the situation for the Soviet Union. It's also rainy over here, which is not necessarily bad for us. I think we should first actually move these guys over here, these aircraft that are coming in from Siberia, so that we are sure that they are moving. So down here we could do some of these attacks. Don't seem to be immediately extremely useful. I think I definitely want to upgrade these guys, their weaponry. Other than that, we need a couple of reinforcements over here, but that is more or less it. Could actually do some heavy damage on some of these guys. What's your supply situation? Is any of you below 5 supplies? No. Only you over here are at 5 supplies. You could potentially be destroyed though. And we do have these light tanks. Yeah. So what I think, we simply reinforce these guys. Reinforce the special forces. Reinforce the tanks. All of that is pretty expensive, but all in all I'm still fine with doing that. And then over here, conduct a strike on these guys. Nice thing about this is we could potentially strike their air force. But how would we do that? So we need to strike once, then need to shift these guys out of position, and I do like the fact that they are entrenched currently. On the other hand, these guys are further upgraded than these are. You know what? Let's destroy units while we can, or at least potentially do so. These guys can't move in anyway, so that's alright. You could move down here. I kind of doubt that they will attack though, so it might make more sense to simply reinforce you. Some of these attacks over here are not too bad actually. Especially this one. On the Italians. Yeah, the Italians seem to have suffered quite badly, but even the Hungarians over here are struggling. Let's strike them over here. Yeah, and these guys really can't move out. Move them into the city, and then we'll be able to gain some mobility later on. In the north, situation is much more insecure. So over here we lost this position. Do we necessarily need to keep that? We could pull these guys back, swap out these 2 units basically. I don't think we need this position. These attacks up here might be okay. Okay, so let's do it like that. Let's bring up these guys over here. You're not that fine over there, but I think it's fine. Bring you over here. You are conducting these guys, these fighters. Who are you controlling? These guys. Right. So down here then. I think these guys simply need to pull back, even though it's unfortunate that we should be losing this position. Can conduct a strike over here. We can pull you slightly back. Okay, let's do it like such. We are going to reinforce Brest-Litovsk because it's a very good position for us to keep. Pull back the armor train. Conduct some strike on these advanced forces over there. Bring in these corps back. Lose this fortified position over there, which is unfortunate, but still better than sticking around there for no point at all. Can do a strike over here, that wouldn't be too bad. Nice, very good actually. So that means we can bring these guys in over here, stabilize that front even. Shatter these guys, lovely. Can't move up though. It's fine though. And then we can pull back these corps towards over here and bring in this army over here, and then these guys will be able to we'll be able to upgrade these guys later on, and that is fantastic. These tactical bombers can't do anything because there's a lot of rain going on, so I think that's fine. We do have these guys who need to be reinforced, so but they don't need to be reinforced now, so I think that's going to be alright. The cavalry can send them up towards the front. Likewise, these fighters. So over here, the AA guns. Should we shift them down here? I think we might do that. We do have some fighters over here, that's alright. We should have some fighters up here, these and these. And that means we can bring these guys, I think, a little bit further down. Let's bring them up over here. No rain over there, so that's alright. These tactical bombers could be reinforced, but I do think we'd rather want to upgrade these fighters. It does cost us some points, but it does make them so much better. And then we can set them to auto-intercept, and that should be good. So much more happy with that result, actually. Do we get any new units as the Soviets? Yes, in fact we do get an army and a garrison type unit. So where do we want to place these guys? So firstly the garrison, because it's the less flexible unit. Just over here might actually be useful. Although it should get a chance to dig in as well. Happy that we have Gomel covered. If we do get pushed back to this location, I think it might make sense to have a garrison over there. Also, that fortress over here is a good position to keep at all cost. But you know what? I think what we are going to do is take the garrison unit, Brest-Litovsk garrison, which is actually down there, but put it in that area up here. And then the last army. I'm still mostly worried about this area because there are 3 German tank divisions, and that is very frightening. Whereas down here I think we are a little bit more stable. We do have 2 units in principle in reserve. Some of them need to be upgraded, reinforced and such. And we are always on the cusp of losing more units over here. I mean, we are seeing some Italian tank divisions. But for now, I think we are fine. Still, they do have a lot of reserves over here, which they don't necessarily have up here. But still, it would also be nice to maintain a line down here. So let's actually bring that army over here, and that should be fine and lovely. Yeah. So, I think that about settles it for the oh, no, of course not. As always, we will want to attack down here on these Romanian fighters, which have been reinforced, unfortunately. But as long as we can keep on pounding them, we will. And up here in the Baltic, we'll probably send in our battleships towards the back lines over here. And that's alright. Good. So we could reinforce these guys, but I don't feel the immediate need to do so. So in fact what we rather might do is simply buy more units. And that is very crucial. Because the Soviets are getting some more units, but not too much. And we don't have an infinite amount of points. So what I'm actually thinking is we could replace these mechanized forces for 144 points. Could buy armies, entire armies for 180. You know what? Mechanized, I do want these guys. Let's purchase them. Could get some engineers, which wouldn't be too bad. Build up some more fortifications on a second line. Or some armies. I mean, the defense values aren't exactly much worse. And you know what, they're fairly cheap, so let's buy some engineers. And then we can't buy an army. We could buy more garrisons. And garrisons are useful. They do provide valuable stopping points that you can anchor your line around. On the other hand, just reinforcing these guys is probably also very worthwhile, so they can be brought in to the next fight a little bit more aggressively. And then this garrison can just move back a scooch. Yeah, and that really spends all of the points that the Soviets do have. Could also ferry in one of these garrisons at some point when we do have some money. But all in all, I think that settles it for the Soviets. That does settle the North Sea as... Oh, not quite. We do have these guys. Submarine destroyer division that is trying to keep open these supply lines. So that is very much appreciated. Good. So, next turn we will be looking again at the at the African theater and the Far East Asian theater. So, until then, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.